And we are live. Thank you very much for joining us today for Lunchtime with Kathleen and Emily. And we are very, very pleased to bring a wonderful guest on. But before I introduce him, I will introduce myself. My name is Emily Bolton, and I am a CPA and a certified tax coach. And I have with me my co-host Kathleen, who we're not exactly seeing too much today because we're going to be focusing on Bill. Hey, there she is.
So we're going to have this turned around onto him today because he's the main lunch menu today.
Yeah, we are serving him up. This is awesome because Bill Packard, husband of Kathleen, has his own, he's an entrepreneur in his own right, and has a company that focuses on customer service. And he will be bringing to us today the topic of Think Like a Customer, 5-step success formula. And I think we could all use that. So Bill, thank you very much for joining us. Do you mind just giving us a little bit of a background on you and your business?
Not at all, and thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. I have started from scratch 5 small businesses, which all became successful businesses that were individually sold, and I also spent just a little shy of 10 years in corporate America. And the two backgrounds together, I think, give me a unique insight. I can see the value of a lot of things that big corporations put into their business, and I can see how they can relate to small businesses. So the two backgrounds, I think, are very complementary and have served me well.
Oh, fantastic. So you have been in the customer service realm principally?
The service business in my own businesses were service businesses, and the company that I worked for, the corporate company, was very, very much behind customer service, and a lot of education on the value of customer service, how to handle certain situations. Well known in the industry that we were in for their exceptional customer service. They're no longer in business. They were bought out by a huge company, but they really focused on that. So got a lot of very professional education plus what I learned through experience.
Yeah, well, there's nothing like learning by the seat of your pants when you have your own client base, your own customer base to service. That's for sure. You know, I'm a serial entrepreneur myself, so I know full well what that is like. And so you have a program that you've developed. Is that what the 5-step success formula is?
It is. I also, when I first started to do this, I wrote a book. The book's called Daylight Saving Time, and it's been retitled now, Set Your Clock for Success, so it's a little more in tune with what I'm doing. But what I wanted to do was put together something that people could see and understand. I didn't want to do like 37 steps to success, because immediately somebody said, I don't really want to do 37 steps. Way too many. But I wanted to give some structure to what it is that I do. So I came up with the 5-step success formula, and everything that I do in the coaching for small businesses relates to thinking like a customer, and how do your actions and your the way that you do business, how do they impact the customer? And so with that as a background, what I start with, the first thing is the business culture. And a lot of times with small businesses, they kind of get uncomfortable with that word. They think they're going to get a lot of corporate mumbo-jumbo because it's some kind of hooey stuff. Mm-hmm. And really, it just comes right down to identifying the things that you won't compromise on in your personal life, and it obviously splashes over into your business. It could be honesty, it could be promptness, It could be accuracy, but the things that you will not compromise on. And it's important that you get those defined and get them written down. I like to have clients do it in one sentence, if I can, so that you really understand and you can share with potential clients and employees what's important to you. And then step 2 is what makes you unique. And this is a tough one for people. The clients will tell me, well, I'm honest. And I'll say, well, so is everybody else in your business. And they'll say that I do this and that. And when we drill down, we usually find the reason that people want to do business with you as opposed to someone else in your field. And oftentimes what I'll have people do is have them send out an email to their customers and ask them, because it's really important what your customers think makes you unique. That's way more important than what you think makes you unique.
Yeah, I would well imagine that is true. I've been asked by some consulting to do that kind of thing, like, approach your family and friends and people you work with and clients or whatever, and ask them, what they think of this or that. And it's uncomfortable to do that. Do you get some resistance with that?
Yeah, people are a little uncomfortable to do it, but when they do it, it's really rewarding for them. A client that I'm working with right now got quite a few responses, and the similarities were really clear. And he said, "Gee, I didn't realize that was important to my customers." So it's really important to understand what sets you apart from, in your case, what sets you apart from every other CPA, what sets us apart.
And Bill, sorry to interrupt you. I would really recommend that people do that, because the feedback that I got back was amazing. And when I sifted through it afterwards, of course, I was kind of glowing because that was kind of cool. But the thing was, what I realized is we're oftentimes our own worst critics. So we're actually maybe not the ones to really be able to identify that. And I went back and I said, now really, kind of tone it down. You don't have to be so nice or whatever. And they go, no, really, I don't know how you don't see that. But so I would really think that that's a very good practice for people to actually do, because I think they're going to get insights that maybe they won't allow themselves to see.
Oh, without a doubt, Emily. Absolutely. One of my mentors says that if we could agree that other people could do things just 80% as good as we can, we would pass off a lot of things and we wouldn't take so much on ourselves. So entrepreneurs are extremely guilty of being difficult or being hard on ourselves. So it's when you hear it and you believe it, then you can focus on, okay, this is what. Number 1, these are my core values. This is what I won't compromise on. And then number 2, this is what makes me unique. And you can share that with potential clients, and it's not just you saying it. It has much more validity when you can say, this is what my clients tell me. So.
Yeah.
So once we've done that, it gives kind of a good foundation as to how anyone feels about their business. It gives them that insight. And then we work with the Pareto principle, the 80-20. Most people know it as 80-20. And I ask clients to identify their top 20% of their customers. And it's their criteria, not mine. In some cases, it might be gross sales. In other cases, it might be the scope of the work, the work that's really rewarding to you and your business, whatever it is. But you identify those people, and now you have a demographic that you can appeal to. So whatever you want to do for marketing, however you want to promote yourself, perhaps organizations that you might want to join because your 20%ers are there, but it really drills down. Again, you've got, this is what I won't compromise on. This is what makes me unique, and these are the people who appreciate that. So now your efficiencies are much stronger, much better, because you're not taking on work that is just basically getting you a check. You are focusing on the people who will probably give you more and appreciate what it is that you do.
And I would imagine, too, that that will help you streamline your focus in the direction and where your company's going, or how quickly you can get the company to go in the direction you want. Because sometimes, particularly when we're starting out, you know, we just need clients. We need customers. So I know from what I see from my client base is that they'll just take any customer that comes along, and then they digress, or they're not happy. And I see that as almost more damaging. I totally understand the need for the cash flow, for the income to come in. However, it can really take a fledgling business in the wrong direction very quickly if they don't focus on who their client is or should be.
Exactly, and I'm realistic. I understand, as you do, that you need the cash flow. The challenge comes when businesses don't just take on that work as just cash flow. You know, in other words, I'm going to take on this client. It doesn't really fit, you know, my uniqueness. It doesn't really fit my core values. They don't necessarily fit in with the 20%, but I have bills to pay, so I'm going to give them a good product. But I understand that that's not what I do, and it also is difficult to turn someone away, so that you have the opening in your time, you have the opportunity for that 20%er, because we think, well, maybe the 20% is not going to call, or I'm not going to reach out to them. So it's hard to turn the work down, but the more that you can focus on what it is you're looking for, and the more it becomes just second nature to you, you're going to attract those people. You gotta believe.
Yeah, and I would imagine that that may even need to become one of your core values, or your culture, rather, I guess,
Yes.
Core values, because I know in my industry, for one, we can get dissipated. And, you know, for instance, if it's one small area of accounting, say, and it's not what I generally like to do, if I take on that client, then it takes away from my focus of where my real expertise is, but then I take up all this additional time trying to get my arms fully around the material so that I'm competent in it. And I certainly can't build that all out, because some of that I'm reaching beyond my professional expertise, although I know what my boundaries are, and I have learned to say no, here, let me refer you. So I like to keep a referral base so that I can still serve them, but by referrals. I know what I know, and I know that, hey, this goes beyond my expertise. And I also have learned the hard way that I really don't want to get dissipated so much and invest so much additional times or monies for one client, one client, then I may never get another one in that particular industry or what have you. And I've just invested all this time, education, and usually that includes some kind of, money outlay as I get my arms around some specific training so that I can serve them very well. But sometimes the best service you can do is just to be able to place them with a professional that can really handle them well.
That's excellent, Emily. And one of the things when I work with a client, one of the things that we talk about, the basic things, is what is it that you do? And what we all do is we solve problems. The only reason people come to us in business is that they have a problem. Now, the problem might be they need a new boat. The problem might be that they need groceries. The problem might be they need their taxes done. But if we solve their problem, we've served them, and we can solve their problem by referring them to someone else, which is way better than saying, no, I'm just not going to do it. So.
Yeah, that's right. They go away happy, and you go away happy. So it really does. It often does work very well to do it like that.
And then it allows you to focus on what you're good at. The the step number 4 is kind of an interesting one, and sometimes, depending on the client, occasionally I'll have a client that is aware of this, and we don't go over it, or we just briefly touch on it. More often, I have clients that want to argue about it, and so we have to we really get into some time, but it's why customers leave a business. Small businesses especially focus on their competition. The competition they think is out there always trying to get their customers, and price. And the SBA studies why customers leave a business, and it's been going on for years. It's updated regularly, but the numbers may change just a little, but the percentage and the concept is the same. And 1% of your customers that leave your business will leave because they die. 3% will move away. 5% will come up with some sort of alternative solution, which just basically means they don't need your service anymore. I use an example. Say you're providing a lawn mowing service, and someone moves to a condo. They don't need anybody to mow their lawn anymore, so that's the 5%. 9% go to the competition. And there are 6 reasons that customers leave. We've already gone over 4 of them, and we only have 18%. So the other 2 must be big.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
The 5th reason is 14% leave because they're unhappy with the product or service. Now, most everybody the light bulb starts to go on then, because they're thinking like a customer, and they're thinking of some time that they were unhappy with a product or service and left the business. But the big one is 68% leave because they don't feel they were treated appropriately. And if you put those last 2 together, 82% of the people who leave a business leave because either they were unhappy with the product or service, or they don't feel they were treated appropriately. Those are the 2 easiest things on the planet to fix. You just need to make an investment in learning how to handle that, and learning to take the objections as opportunities, and learning how to be aware of your customers and your clients and what it is that they're after. That's not just going to happen by osmosis. You can't sit on a book and learn anything. You're going to have to work at it somehow. So that really is an eye-opener for folks. Then they really want to talk about, well, what can I do? And we go over some anecdotal things and things that have happened, and really explain to them how little things can make a big difference. So that's number 4. And then number 5 is, if I'm going to be able to help my clients and get more business and get them busier, the last thing I want to do is have them lose family time. Most entrepreneurs struggle to balance family time and their business. And if you want more business, you've got to systemize things. The look for things, and it's not necessarily a big exotic system, but anything that you can do within your business to save steps. The tax bot is a perfect example of something that saves you from entering something 3, 4, 5 times, or having notes and then finding where's my note and that kind of thing. QuickBooks is a way that you can, because it integrates with things, so you can enter something once, and I'm not promoting, I'm just using these as examples. So they're not big out of touch things. They're things that you can do. I worked with a bed and breakfast that wanted to grow their business, but what they really wanted was to have more time to visit family, which was spread out around the country. And so one of the things that everything was going good. We doubled their early bookings. She was really happy, and when we got to number 5, I said, now we're going to get your business ready to sell. And it broke her heart to think that I was going to suggest that she sold her business. But what we did was we put things in place so that anybody could run that bed and breakfast. Up until that time, it was all dependent on her. And she was a very good student. She came up with a manual, operations manual, and I could go in there and run that, and she has had that free time, been with her family, and she's so appreciative of that. So
yeah, that's actually, Bill, that's actually a fantastic business valuation point that you're bringing up, because, you know, God forbid, stuff does happen. It's happened to me. I had to sell my first tax practice like immediately, you know, and, you know, thank goodness for the systems that are in place, because it's a turnkey operation, essentially. You know, somebody can come in and just kind of pick up where we left off. And that is a great point when it comes to someone, say, like myself, who do a business valuation, to take a look and see the system in place that has value, that has tremendous value, and buyers will see it that way.
Sure, and you don't ever have to sell your business if you don't want to, but if you put those systems in place, it gives you the freedom. You can leave, you do personal things knowing that, I mean, the system part, it also involves empowering your employees. There are a lot of other pieces to it depending on the individual business, but it really, the idea behind it is getting you the freedom that you really deserve. Bonus is you have created a system which has value, and your business becomes more valuable because if you chose to sell it, because it doesn't depend 100% on you.
Yeah, and also the peace of mind, just having the systems in place and operating according to the plan, so to speak, really just gives a lot of restfulness. So you're not wondering, did I do this? You know, chaotic. You know, is it file? Where do I? You know, where are those things again? What did I do with those? So having a system, it's time saving for sure, but it's also just a restful place to operate a business from.
Exactly. So those are the 5 steps, and that's it. And what I do, it's somewhat foreign to people. They haven't seen it, and sometimes people have misconceptions and think that it's really time-consuming or costs a lot of money or whatever. And I look at it, first off, I look at coaching as an investment. My goal is always to give my clients a huge return on investment. Whatever they invest in me, I intend for them to make way more than that back. The other thing is, because it's somewhat foreign, what I do is I offer a complimentary first session. So someone can come to me, they're going to get a 1-hour session if they need the whole hour, and there's no obligation on their part. It's not free. The reason it's not free is because I'm giving my time, I'm sharing my experience, I'm sharing my knowledge. So it's not free, it's complimentary. They don't have to do anything except put their time in and be open. Then, if they can see, if they get some value from that, they get to know me, and they're interested, then we talk about the 3-month investment. And I do 3 months because you really can't change anything in less than 3 months. And so oftentimes it takes more. But it's people can find out, and if someone says, hey, you know, I don't really like what you said, then that's fine, no problem. I would much rather have them know that up front than to have someone make an investment and then say, I don't want to do this. So it really is something that I enjoy doing, and I look forward to working with people. And the best satisfaction I get is when the customers come back or the clients come back and say, man, it's really made a difference.
Oh, that's awesome. So who generally are your clients?
I would say solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, businesses with 50 people or less, 50 employees or less. I'm really probably more like 25, but the principles apply to any business at all. And it's someone who wants to do things differently. And if they want to keep doing what they're doing and keep getting what they've been getting, they're not a good client. But if they want to do things different and they want somebody, Les Brown, the speaker Les Brown has a line that I just love. You can't see the picture if you're in the frame. And if someone understands that and wants someone to look from the outside and encourage them, not be critical, but encourage them and help them to do things differently, reach their goals, that's the person that's an ideal customer for me.
Yeah, and I would imagine your services are very valuable because I oftentimes I come back to this E-Myth book by Michael Gerber, and it's always by my desk because so many small businesses, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs start up a business without fully comprehending all of the aspects that go into the business. They're generally technically competent, and so they have that kind of skill, and they say, hey, I want to do this. I see my boss where they were employed making X amount of dollars, and I only get paid such and such a salary, and they think, wow, I can get paid those kinds of dollars, and they step into it without fully understanding what goes into it. So again, people do tend to grapple with the culture because you get hit with a lot of things. I know in my industry, for me, it is all about integrity, absolute integrity. But when it comes to taxes, there are a lot of folks that don't walk in integrity when it comes to taxes. So that's it for me. My foot is down. It's a done deal. If you want to be a tax cheat, you don't belong with me. I'm a tax planner, and my goal is to get those kinds of significant tax savings, but do it with utilizing the Internal Revenue Code, knowing what's out there, and really just getting really creative and taking advantage of all these, shelters, loopholes, and they're all legal, they're all right there, how to set up these plans right and take advantage of what the code allows. But most don't do that, unfortunately. They're not aware of the planning. So unfortunately, a lot of folks seem to see, what can I get away with? When small businesses do start, they're just not familiar with all the aspects. Customer service, they may never have dealt with customer service systems. They don't understand the payroll, the bookkeeping oftentimes, and the tax aspects. So you probably see a lot of that?
I do, and yeah, the customer service aspect especially, which is where I really enjoy that, and it's amazing. Most businesses, when I ask, well, what do you do for customer service education? They don't do anything, and so it's no wonder that they end up with rogue employees. Some of them are really good, and some of them are really bad, but they're rogue employees. Especially folks who travel, oftentimes will go to some sort of franchise. They will stay at a certain hotel, for instance, or they will eat at, I'm not talking fast food, but they will eat at a certain chain of restaurant because they know what to expect. And that's really what you need to give your clients in your small business. They should get the same service from everybody in the business, which replicates what you would do if you were there. So yeah, the customer service piece of it is huge. And the other things are things that I really feel people need to have for foundation.
Yeah, I know with the customer service piece, one of the things that I know is true in most of these industries, and Michael Gerber says it in his book, is probably the first person you want to hire when you reach that place where you just can't do it all is probably an assistant of some variety. That most likely will be the person who is the customer service person, because if they went in being the technocrat, then really the customer service and the bookkeeping and the answering the phones and all that kind of stuff is probably not their forte, probably not the thing they like, which probably won't bode very well for customer service.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anyone's interested, wants to know more, or would like to take advantage of the complimentary first session, they can email me. The email is bpackardme@gmail.com. It's pretty simple. I probably should have had it up on the screen, but they can email me, or they can go to the website. There's a newsletter comes out every week, which becomes my blog. So they can look through the website and learn more about what I'm like. There's a contact box on there, and all of my information is on there, phone number and everything else. So yeah, if anyone's interested, and this works fine in person. It works fine all the way across the world. It works. The principles work the same for someone that's doing an online business or someone that's doing a bricks and mortar business. It's all the basic stuff. And the big thing is with me is I want to have fun too. I want them to have fun. So it's not a bunch of boring numbers and facts and figures.
That sounds great. So, and you're on Facebook as well, Bill, right?
I am. bpackard.com is my Facebook.
Okay, so we'll be able to find you there, and we'll also put your information in our little link here, so we can get that out to our viewers. Great. So, thank you so
very much for having me.
Oh, our pleasure, truly our pleasure. I feel so bad we had all the technical difficulties and even got a little late start, but there she is. I know how my co-host can be if you can't make it. Moving on.
It was good, and it was good to hear all this, just setting off to the side, because it made me stop and think, how this can help people online. We're talking about clients and employees and stuff, but just change that technology to your business partner. And who you want for a business partner, and how you're going to treat them, and what systems do you have in place to make your customers and partners,
Sure. And one thing I was thinking as Bill was talking is that in the online, we know that sometimes leaders, they get quite a few people under them, and you know what? They just don't have all the time to do all the servicing. They can, they're out there and they can work with them and get them signed on, and just their forte is really just being out there in that regard, sort of on the sales side. But then on the, time is limited, and they also want the freedom. So perhaps being able to hire out the customer service, and someone like Billy you could tap into to get them trained properly according to your values, according to your culture, and all of that. So I can see quite a bit of value for that in our industry.
Absolutely, and I think it's getting that shift to really realizing the value of having a mentor or coach, or however you want to define that. But they're far more than, they're helping you get all of your thoughts and systems and things in place that are important to you. That's a very valuable asset.
Yeah, particularly for some entrepreneurs, they may never have had any exposure. Like Bill comes with having multiple businesses and having corporate background, so he's got that exposure and experience and the expertise. But some of the individuals coming in to the industry may have absolutely no customer service. They probably have good people skill, but they may not quite know what to do or how to handle it. So Bill, we cannot thank you enough for being here and being a source for people. We'll put your information and your links in our data below, and again, thank you, and we will wrap up and say our goodbyes for the day. So thank you once again, and take care, everyone. God bless.
Thank you.
Bye.